Pork with a blackberry sauce is what we are making in the TV8 kitchen this morning. And a good one to you. I'm Tracy Miller, always trying to incorporate fruits and vegetables into a meal. And right now, blackberries are in season. That means, first of all, they're inexpensive. And second of all, they're sweet and delicious. So we're going to make a blackberry sauce today with thyme and a lot of other ingredients. It's actually somewhat of a complicated recipe, and you can find it on my website at colorfulcooking.com. Totally worth making it though. The first thing that we're going to do is sear up some pork. I have some pork loin and I've put it in a pan with some olive oil. Now the number one trick to cooking this and getting a nice sear is to not stir it, not touch it. So I've been searing it up for a while. You'll know when it's ready when it just moves around by itself. If it's still stuck to the pan, same when you're grilling, then that means it's not done yet. So I've been cooking this for about 10 minutes or so. It's a lean cut. It's a pork loin, so it's going to have very little fat and it's going to be super duper tender. So I just put a little salt and pepper on it, and now I'm just going to place it over here, and I'm going to use the pan with the pork juices to make my sauce. In order to make this sauce kind of thick, I have to make a roux. A roux consists of some fat, and today we're going to be using butter, equal amounts fat, butter, and flour. So I'm going to let the butter melt, and then I'm going to add the flour. That is going to make what's called a roux. That's the base of making a sauce if you want to thicken it up. But what I have going on now is over here in this pan. And this has been simmering for a while because it takes about 15 minutes or so to really infuse all the flavors. So what are the flavors that I have in here? I started off with a 1/4 cup of shallot, which is a nice delicate onion, cooked that in a little bit of olive oil. I let it get nice and soft and tender, and then I put in 1 container of blackberries. I just threw those blackberries in there whole, and I put in a tablespoon of thyme. And thyme is so fragrant and delicious, and it comes out on these sticks like this right here. So all you want to do when you're working with thyme is you just pull it off really easily like that and get the leaves off. So that is how you use thyme. You just pull them off. It's a great job if you have a kid that's kind of watching and they want to mess around with you. Okay, so now my butter, we're going to move away from the blackberry sauce and move over to the roux. My butter has melted. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons because we want equal parts of the fat, equal parts of flour. So I'm going to add those 2 tablespoons right there to the butter, and I'm going to take a whisk and stir that up. This is going to become a really thick sauce, and now a lot of times, like if you're making gumbo or something, you can sit here and make your roux until it's a light brown caramel color, and it can take up to an hour. This is a quick fix for our roux today. It's just going to serve as a thickening agent for our blackberry sauce. So now in this pan, we started off with the shallots and a little bit of olive oil. I sauteed those for about 5 minutes. I put in 1 cup of chicken broth and 1 cup of blackberries whole, 1 tablespoon of thyme leaves, and a little bit of salt and pepper. I let that boil for about 15 minutes because you really want it to get nice and colorful, and you want to start breaking down those berries. So if you can see in here, you can see that the berries have just started to break down a little bit. They've lost their color. The color is now in the sauce. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little strainer. I'll tell you what, I got this for like 50 cents. It's one of my favorite tools. We're going to strain the blackberries and the thyme. All those flavors are infused. We're going to strain those right into here. And when you're doing this, you really want to push the juices out of the berries. So use a fork because they're super hot, and just push those juices out. So now what we have is a really liquidy sauce right here. And that is exactly what we want, because that is going to be mixed in with the roux and make a thicker sauce. So slowly here, we are going to mix our blackberry sauce into the roux and continue to stir it. You want it at a good heat. See how thick that's getting? So we're going to keep on adding our blackberry sauce. And a lot of times blackberries can be really tart. So you're definitely going to want to be tasting this. Right now they're really, really sweet, but you're definitely going to want to be tasting this just in case they are tart. You're going to want to add a little bit of sugar. What I like to add to this sauce at this point in time is just a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Once again, it's going to freshen it up with the vinegar flavor, so we'll do about a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. It's going to freshen it up with the vinegar. Vinegar is always a great addition to sauces or soups. It just kind of freshens it up a little bit, and it's going to give it a little bit of sweetness too. So here we go. We've got it going. I'm going to crank it up just a little bit to make it nice and thick, and then I'm going to pour it right over my pork that is already seared up. So we have some of the pork flavors, some of the pork juices that were in this pan, and now we have the blackberry sauce. A little shot of salt and pepper really makes this delicious, and then you're just going to pour it right over your sauce. Right over your pork. This is delicious on chicken as well as pork. So if you're looking for something good, you want to have a little blackberries in your life, this is an easy way to do it. The sauce doesn't take too long to make, but it does have a couple procedures. So log on to colorfulcooking.com to find out the exact recipe. But blackberries are where it's at right now at the grocery store. Right now though, Mark Sassy, he's going to draw a winner for the Alpine Bank Weather Whiz Kit.